So welcome back to Breaking the Internet for Good. Okay. So as a designer, once you're on a website or an app, there are things you need to be looking at. Okay. The attention is supposed to be drawn at some things. This will help you in, creating better layout when designing. So once you are designing, the most important thing is the layout. Okay, once you know the layout and then you get your content, you can start, arranging things. And we talked about grid and we talked about 12 grid points. Okay, we have other grid points. Okay, some people we have the 8-point grid, we have 16-point grid. Depends on what you are trying to achieve. Okay, so if you need more space, you have to increase the number of grid. So if you have more space, you basically want to increase the number of grids so that you can manage your space, the real estate of that screen properly. So for instance, take a look at this website, this OpenAI website. Okay. So there's nothing much going here. On the hero section, you just have like a text and a video background. So remember, for your content, for your designs, sometimes there could be videos, sometimes it could be GIFs, sometimes there could be pictures, and sometimes it could just be plain background. So these are some of the things that differentiates different websites. So you might come to a particular website and you notice a lot of things going on there. Sometimes it's not just about design. As a UI UX designer, you work with a whole lot of people. So if you wanted a video there, you have to, tell the media team that you need a video for that particular background, and they'll go ahead and get that video. You can't design the video in Figma. Okay, you have to basically bring in the video and add it in Figma as a background, and also the development team will do that. So there are a lot of things you need to take a look at whenever you're on the website. That's the essence of this class. But the most important thing is we are going to actually break it to see how this thing is done. So let's assume you want to create this type of header. How do you go about it? Okay. So if I want to create this type of header, the first thing I need to do is to come in here. Okay. So let me come in here now and let me set this to 20. Let me set it to okay. Let's go with 25. Okay. So the first thing I probably want to do is you want to get your logo here. Okay. You want to get your logo, and then you also want to get this section right here. Okay. And once you've gotten that section, you want to also go ahead and then get this section. Okay. Remember, you create them 111, then auto frame them. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do is to auto frame these two. Okay. So auto frame these two like this. Okay, because they are the same group. And after everything, you can now auto frame this section and then this other section. So you can see the grouping, right? So this is how you can create this particular header. Remember, you have the first one, which is the logo. You have the second one, which holds this 5 menus. You have this other one, which holds 4 menus. And after that, you want to auto frame 1, 2. With a space there, and then later on you want to now select everything here and this side, and then auto frame them, and then use your automatic space between to make sure everything is on the right and on the left. Then you have this hero section here with the image, and then here you just have this container right here. Okay, they're basically using one container here. The grid is just centered. Okay, and then you also have this button right here, and once you are done with this, you can also auto frame them so that you can create your spacing in between those items so that you can maintain a uniform space. Or if you can just move it, that is also fine. Okay. Now let's scroll down. So basically you can see this is another section entirely. And on this section, they've created this type here and then another one here. And then they've auto framed these two, right? And then they've made it to take up three columns. So 3 columns, right? So 4 columns each, and you have three columns on the 12 grid. Okay. So 3 columns on the 12 grid. That means each of this is taking up like 4. So you now center them. You can see one, the same thing here. You duplicate it and duplicate it. Okay. Then you have an underline here. And also if you come here, you can see these are basically images and some text. Okay. So you have images and some text. Meanwhile, here they used 3. Here they've broken it up further into 4. You can see how these things work, right? So you can get an image. If you get an image, you get your introduction. This is your title, and then you get your date. And after getting your date, you go ahead and add this in an auto frame. So you can basically see how to create some of these components. Then you duplicate it. So the same way, if you keep going, the same thing here. Here now they've divided into 2. You have this one side right here, and also you have this other one side, but this side has 2 contents. This now and then you have this, right? And then you have the main container containing them. So you want to, anytime you are looking at a website, this is how you want to, look at those websites to understand how the layout is being set. So in case you want to recreate something like that, you understand the layout itself. Here, they've just used a picture to, create a one row and one column section. Okay. You can see this section is just a picture. And then you come here, the same thing here happening here is just basically reusing this component here, but the pictures are different. Okay. So now let's move over to the next website. Okay, let's go to Paystack. So remember, this is just for educational purposes. Okay, so we mean no harm. So once you come to Paystack as well, you can see the same thing, almost the same thing going on here. You have these guys here. So how do you actually achieve something like this? The same thing you do. You come in here, you create this section. You can see them. They have two sections. Okay, let me reduce this to like 20. They have two sections, and then remember, this logo, always give this logo, right? Don't always mix them. Get your logo first separately, okay? Then you get this section, okay? After you've gotten this section, you select these two now and auto frame them, okay? Then after that, you want to go ahead and auto frame everything there that forms the navigation. Here is just one row with text in the middle, okay? Now coming to the hero section, what they've basically done on this hero section is to have, let me clear that. Where's the clear? Let me erase that. Okay. So let me erase. Okay. Now coming to the hero section, basically what they've done is to divide this section into two. Okay. You have this left-hand side. Okay. And they've added a GIF image right there. Like I told you, content can be videos. It can be GIF. It can be images. It can even be animations. Okay. It can be anything. So it can also be video. It can also be slideshows. Okay. So you have two layouts right here. But on this layout, on this other side, you have this type here. This is a section on its own. This is another section on its own. Okay. Then you probably want to do this. You type this once. You type this once. Okay. You duplicate it and edit. Then you group these ones too. You group these ones now. Okay. You group these ones. Then you come here, you type. Okay, you type, and also you type here. Then you want to also group this section because you can see the spacing is a little bit different. Then you want to also type this section. And once you've done this, you can now select these sections 1, 2, 3, okay, as a group. And then select 1, 2 now and group to get this particular section. So if you scroll down to the next section, basically the same thing. They've also used 2 column. Okay. So 2 column, they are 12 grid. They've used 2 column. So here they've added just an image they created. Okay. Just an image. And here they've also done this 1 and then they did this 2. Okay. You can see the spacing is much more here. So this is an auto frame on its own. And then you have this section here. Whoa, you have this section and then you have this section. Then you select everything now and auto frame. So as a designer, when you visit a website henceforth, this is what you're supposed to be seeing. You need to start seeing how, they create this content using layouts. That way you can learn from them. Okay. That's the best way to actually become good. You have to learn. So you can see here is basically a video. You can see I have this, thing telling me download video. So basically this is a video that was created. So you are a UI UX designer. You are not the one creating this video. But it should be your idea. You should say, okay, you know what? As a UI designer, you know what? I would like this video, this kind of video animation there. And yes, if you also know how to create animations, that is a plus for you. But as a UX designer and UI designer, it's really not the core skills, but it is an essential skill. If you have it, it's a plus for you. You can create something like this and decide, okay, this particular place, instead of just putting a picture, because we've had pictures here. It's like it was beginning to look boring. And the person decided, you know what, let me just break out of this boredom and add a video there so that it gives this vibe of, something is going on. So you have a video there and you have your text here too. Okay. Same way here, they've added in this section, they added this, and they auto-framed this section, this group, auto-frame it, okay? And then they've created a card. This card basically have a picture, a title, small description, which they've also auto-framed because they have the different spacing, auto-framed. Then you have the button here, and then with this, they now created the parent auto-frame, which is this white one, okay? And now they've duplicated it to create these other 3 ones. So you can see here they are using 3 columns. So you can see here they used 2 columns. Nothing is on this side. You can see here is basically empty. Okay, here is basically empty. So you also have to take note of that. So it's not all the time that you must, when you divide it, you must have things on the other side. No, sometimes you just want to use 1 column. And together you can see how this row is looking like. So I can go on and on to just show you this thing. Here they've broken it down. They have the same pattern here. This is just for consistency. They have the same pattern here, but instead of pictures now, they have these smaller pictures for the logos. If you come back to Vimeo too, now Vimeo, you can see it's a little bit advanced. This almost is, but it's basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. So don't get distracted. The same way, your logo on its own, your logo here, right? You have your logo. Let me increase that to like 20. You have your logo. Okay. Once you have your logo, you create these ones. Okay. Let me move this down. You create those ones. Then you want to group everything now with the logo. Right. Then you have these guys here. And then here, you created a button already. Then you select everything to form your nav bar. Right? Now, coming here, you can see what they did here. Instead of just putting a plain background, you can see what is happening here is a video. So you can create videos and use the videos and if you can see inside this video, we have some animation going on. So you create these videos in another software. It's not on Figma. You create this video, you come in here, you drop it. And after dropping this video, which is basically overlaying this background, okay? This video is actually overlaying this background. The whole video is overlaying this background. So you come in here and then you are typing, type. Okay. After typing, you want to select this and group them in an auto frame. Then you create your buttons, your button group. Okay. Auto frame them and then select everything again and put it in an auto frame so that you can space them out. But if you don't like too much auto frame, you can just manually use Alt key to space them out. But auto frame will help you to dynamically align things when you start doing responsive design and so on and so forth. Here they've done four columns. Okay. So they have an icon here and then they have a title here and then a description here. And you can see this one, they didn't auto frame separate. You can see it's uniform spacing. Then after everything, this is an auto frame on its own, about four of the grids. About 3 of the grids, right? Then they duplicated it and then you have 12 grids. So the same thing. But coming here, you can see they've made it 2 grids now. So you can see this is how you break out from boring designs. You use 3 grids in some places. In some places you use 4 column. Sorry, not grid, column I mean. In some places you use 4 column. In some places you use 3. In some places you use 6. In some places, just so that everything is not monotonous. Okay. So you can see here again, they've added videos. So once you see websites that are this interactive, don't kill yourself yet. Okay. Sometimes they are just videos that are making this thing look more exciting. So yes, so you type and then you type and you group these ones in an auto frame because these ones form a section here. Okay. And also these ones here form a section. But as you can see, this particular section, they are not equal. This side is bigger than this side. So probably this is taking up to 7 columns and this one is taking like 5 or maybe 8 and this one is taking like 4. Okay, it's looking like 7 and 8 and 4 because if you check it, you see it there. So the same way here, you can see they've done the same thing, but this time around is a longer video. So this is just basically showing you how to create your website, okay, or your app. This is very important. Let's come to Atlassian. Okay, let's come to Atlassian. And when you come to Atlassian, the same thing. I've shown you how to think about these things anytime you see them. The same thing. Okay. Now, for this is their hero section. A large hero here, and then an image at the background. Then they have this thing here where they have the text and the play video, added a blue background and made it a little bit transparent. You can see it's see-through. Now they created another section, okay? Another section and basically displays the margin so that it comes up. So for something like this, in auto frame, you use something called absolute position. We've not done absolute positioning because we have absolute positioning. We'll do it later on. So use absolute position to achieve something like this. This belongs to the hero image. Okay, this belongs to the hero section. Okay, so use absolute positioning to get something like this. Okay, and then you can see you come in here. Then look at this. This is two sections, right? Two sections, image on one side and text on the other side. But see the grouping. Remember, there's grouping inside here, just like here and here are the same, and then grouped like this. Okay, grouped like this. Good. Then this one here, you have image here, you have your content here, you have your description here. Now you have to first group these two in an auto frame. Then you have to now group this and this image. Okay, then you duplicate to get the rest. So basically, this is how you keep going. So you have to understand these things. These ones are basically centered, and here you have 6 columns for these logos. You can see the same thing is happening here. This one you're having like 7 to 5 or 8 to 4 for the 12 grid. You can see content, image and small contents here, and then you have this text content right here. Here you have the same thing, but now 3 columns. So understand these things. Like anytime you are looking at a website, be able to break down these things this way. So you are able to recreate them. And from there, you can start creating original designs. Okay. Once you have a lot of inspiration. Now let's take a look at this one. Now there is something called decoration when it comes to web design or app design. What we've done so far, we didn't really do a lot of decoration. The only decoration we did was just that 2 circles we kind of played with. We didn't do a lot of decorations. Decorations is where you have to, you begin to beautify it. Now, apps like this is a Web3 website. They do a lot of decorations on their apps and their website. They like it shiny because they want people to really believe that it's going to make them rich. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Forget all this. These things are all decorations. You see everything here, right? They are all decorations. So getting something like this done, you don't need to suffer yourself much. These are all decoration. You can get these elements, okay, and hang them there. Now, if you are good in 3D, it is now an additional plus. But as a UX designer, right now, as you are just starting, don't stress yourself. You can download some resources and use them as your decorations, okay? If you don't have the resources, just focus on the main structure. That's the most important thing. Now, for this particular one, already you should have an idea how to come around across with this menu, right? The next thing here is this one on this section, this hero section. They are basically using a 1 column, 1 row, but centering things, okay? You can see it's just 1 column straight. There is no division. This button, you have button group here, and then you have this text here, and then you select everything here and auto frame it, okay? You can see that's basically what you have here. Now, when you keep scrolling, the same thing here is 1 section, but they've used a slider. This slider, is just 2 sections here, right? Picture one side and text content one side. If you keep scrolling, now take a look at what they've done here. This is 2 sections, but then they didn't say much here, right? But on this side, they've used all this gradient color to, I hope someone will surprise me to design this and show me just as a free time. Okay. So you can see they've used this gradient here to create these interesting things on this other section. Basically, you have the first one here, and then you have the second one here, right? And then you now select this and then auto frame them. So you auto frame them, you duplicate it. You just keep doing. Now, don't mind this background. These are just aside the main background, everything you see in here, this neon effect, they are all decorations. You can get them. At this stage, don't try coming to create these things from scratch. These things are things you learn when you've grasped the basics. These are for paparazzi. You don't want this now, okay? You don't want this now. You want to be able to solve problem now and create your basic UI. So at this time, this is what you want. As time goes on, you can start upgrading your skill to learn how to create some of this neon light effect. You can create it with Pen 2 in Figma or in Photoshop or any other apps that makes it easier for you to create. Or you can just leverage on the thousands of resources out there and use them, okay, for your decoration. Basically the same thing, and you keep going, the same thing. So you have to, once you get to a website from today, I want you to start noticing those patterns so that you start filling your head with good layout structures. In case you are asked to design something, you can create good layout structures because you've understood some of these structures and how they are gotten. Okay? The second to the last one is this particular website, Cash App. So when you come to Cash App, this is a very beautiful website. There is a lot going on, but please just know that everything going on here is a video. It's a video. This is not your job. I'm begging you. Okay, this is probably created by different departments that are into 3D and motion graphics. So they create these things and put them here, but you can see some of the designs right there. Okay, but here's the thing, like I said, you don't need to learn this now. But after this bootcamp, okay, you've gotten the basics. You know how to solve problems. Okay, you know how to solve design problems and come up with a screen. You can now, take this up a bit by, learning some animation skills, right? These are differently entire apps. Then after you've created your animation, you convert them to video and then use it as a video background. But as for the layout, the same thing. This is using basic one layout, okay? It's basic one column, right? And then in the one column, everything is centered. Then you have your text in the center and the video at the background, okay? So you can see that you use the slider kind of effect. As you are sliding, you are basically doing the same thing as you're sliding. Here you have two contents, okay? 1 and 2, image and text. So you keep the same thing. Are you seeing? The same thing. Everything here is decoration. You can see all these images. This is not done in Figma. That is my whole point. Don't come to Figma and try to do all these things. Instead, you see this screen. Yes, this particular screen, that is the one you do in Figma and give whoever is creating the 3D design so that they can just do it as a mock-up. But these are skills you can pick up later, of course. So if you have these skills coupled with your UI UX skills, bam, you'll be more at an advantage. But to get hired as a UI UX designer, you don't need this. But to get more opportunity, you can pick it up later. But you can pick all this up in 3 months, okay? So let's tell ourselves the truth. So you keep going. And another thing, you should learn how to look at good designs. Please, if you enter anywhere, get inspired by good designs, not horrible and bad ones. Okay, so the last one for this video is GitHub. So this GitHub is for programmers, but it's one of the best well-designed programmer websites I've ever seen, okay? I think they are really passionate about design. Most programming websites, they don't care. They just type. But GitHub took it a little bit higher, with this neon effect. And you can see this is like a one column, okay? One column, and they have these things aligned, everything aligned to the left. But here they've broken it down for those logos, okay? So basically the same thing. You come in here, you can see it's still one column. They didn't do much. Still one column, the text here, and then let me see. Let me do that again. So you have this caption here. You have this icon here. You select these two, auto frame it, okay? And then you have this text right here. Then you want to also auto frame these guys. But due to the interaction, you might not auto frame them. Then here you have just one image aligned to the left. Now, this one at the background is basically decoration. It's not doing anything. It's basically decoration. But you see all these ones, they're a little bit more functional. And then you keep seeing these interactions, okay? You keep seeing all these interactions. So all these interactions. So as you're looking at this, you ask, okay, how do I create this layer? Like I said, some of these advanced you can actually, this particular ones, you can do something like this in Figma, but it's going to take you a whole lot of time, okay? And the truth is, in reality, sometimes agencies don't even waste time in Figma trying to create prototype. A lot of them, you as a UI UX designer, you can just explain or, give them idea. But trust me, some of those front-end designers, they are very good and they can actually come up with a lot of interaction, even without you telling them. If you just give them idea of what you want, okay? But here's the thing. As a UI UX designer, you need to know at least basic prototyping so you can, if you can come up with good ideas. But Figma is out of it for now. There are other apps for creating this kind of animation. Like some people actually go to After Effects to create these animations, this interaction, so that the developer will see, okay, oh, this is actually what you can do. Because when you're on an app like After Effects, or when on an app like After Effects, you have more, freedom to play around with almost everything. Unlike when you're in Figma. Same goes to maybe when you are using app like ProtoPie. Okay, you can do a whole lot more. So yeah. So once you're on the website, I want you to start looking at these things with a designer's eye. How can I achieve this? And I've just shown you how you can achieve some of these things. Okay. So yes, so this is the end of this particular video. I hope you've learned something. I'm sure that from today, as you are looking at a website, you are seeing something that other people's are not seeing. Okay. So see you guys in the next class and have a lovely day.